I just felt like sitting on the bridge
I was
today.
wondering what I saw there.
Oh, man. All right. We're here. We did it. We made it. We're alive.
Oh, thank God Dan turned that off.
Thank you. Well, officially welcome, sir.
Thank you.
We have been trying to make this happen for what? 8-9 months?
I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw you across the street at Cooper's.
Right.
And I knew that you were doing, is it the pizza review that you do?
Yeah, we do the pizza. Yeah, I do the pizza.
Yeah, so I was like, well, we got to get him on. So tell us about that. What is that?
So just by general accident, I was, working with another gentleman in the area, just sponsoring a podcast. Basically, what he does is goes around and does pizza reviews.
Oh,
And,
really?
Yeah, and the winner wouldn't go on camera, so I was asked to go on camera.
Wait, what do you mean the winner wouldn't go on?
The guy who won the award.
restaurant?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going on camera. He like clammed up and shelled. Just got real clammy. He wouldn't go on.
Didn't he know he was in a pizza contest?
Well, it was like a round robin tournament, like March Madness, but for pizza people.
Yeah.
And each person was pitted up against them. So I was put on the spot. I'm like, sure, what the hell? Like, I worked in kitchens my whole life, my first job. I know what I'm doing. I have an outdoor forno in my yard, like
a what?
Forno, outside pizza oven.
Okay.
Wood fired.
Oh yeah.
Dude, you got to talk to me like I have an education of like a swamp rat.
It's such, I get so complacent sometimes I forget.
Like my wife does that. She's like, oh, I'm Benny and blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know any of these people, man. I have no context.
So forno is an outside pizza oven.
Is that like the
wood fired? You have to warm it up to a certain temperature.
What's like 1,000 degrees or something it has to get to?
Yeah, like Bar Pazzo. It's
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like
All right.
their
So,
pizza. I
see?
have that in my yard.
If you tell me like something, I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, long story short, kind of just jumped.
I understood. I understood.
I caught it.
You said long story short.
Yeah, why would I say
Yeah.
anything else?
I understood.
Wonderful product placement.
So that's kind of how that was born. And then I was making basement meat with my buds up in Mount Margaret, and we hang hundreds of pounds of supersatas. And a gentleman from down the line came up, and he did his the Garden Goombas. His name's Joe Stepino. We call him Cuzzy. Came and he coined the nickname Pizza Ron. So that day, Pizza Ron was officially born.
Yeah,
by accident.
Yeah.
So okay, how did you get in? I've always wanted to ask somebody this question. How did you get into hanging meat? Nothing from any of you. Jesus.
I mean, that's like, that is, I mean, come on, guys, bring it on. But it's a tradition, it's something that
it's like from childhood.
A very Italian thing to do, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you grow up, things are lost over time. My family, they're Italian Americans mixed in, and the community I grew up in, it was something that I knew how to do. Like I learned from my family.
Where'd you grow up around here?
So I'm a Scranton boy. Families from Jessup, Scranton, and Moscow area. All
right, so that's like a good
good mix.
Yeah, it's
a traveling
mix.
Wilbury.
But I've been on every part of this this area, and every area I've probably lived or drank a beer. So
did you go over Cooper's yet and try all their? They have like hundreds.
So I'm
of
so
beers.
proud of what they're doing over there, becoming a brewery.
I know, man.
So I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they're opening up the Cooper's Family Brewery. Yeah.
In the restaurant building.
They're brewing it in the basement right now.
They have an actual
good for them.
Hired someone, and they're microbrewing beer over there.
Good for them.
It's and I know son Jesse's doing it.
That's a great
Jesse
idea.
Cooper,
yeah.
And I completely walked in there the one year. We have a business relationship for almost 4 or 5 years, and I said, hey, we are fastly growing in the area. I want to be a part of whatever you're doing. What does it take? And it just created that business relationship. And they're like, well, who are you versus everybody else? And, didn't really have to give them a spiel. I said, just give me a shot and you'll see what customer service is like. And we create this cool relationship where they're expanding at such a great rate. And I just want to be a part of things where people are going up.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're probably one of the best families.
Oh, they're so nice.
Right. Yeah. They're like the best people ever.
The one daughter was in yesterday, and I'm just like chatting with her.
Like
didn't even know. I thought it was just you
just thought it was just like a random.
There's a couple, so I don't know them all.
Yeah.
Well, it's like every time I go and I meet someone new, and they're just
they might have some Irish in them. That's why they keep,
a little bit.
So my family was
you're a West Side boy too, right?
Well, I'm Green Ridge, and now I'm West Side. Well, I was Green Ridge, and we're gypsies. We're gypsies.
Yeah.
Gypsy. But
I agree.
My mom is like hardcore Irish. Like she has a hyphen or an apostrophe in her name. and my dad was like German Italian, and when you hear like my family talk
That
about,
explains so much about you.
that's not even the half of it. There's other shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound like a psycho when I said that. I'm just not used to looking this way. So when they got married, it was a very like, you know how it is between Irish and Italian families. Like back then, like they
Pasta and potatoes.
they were friendly, but they weren't friendly. You know, they always had their weird quirks. But I think now it's one of those things where it's pretty awesome that like all these different cultures around here.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back in time.
Thanks for helping me on that one, Ron.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look back in time, we're a coal miner region, right?
Right.
So each block had everybody came
immigrants.
here, immigrants,
Yeah.
right? So each
They had
block,
their church and their bar.
church and a bar,
Yep.
right? And, over time, we see things change, but it's because
Yeah.
we all started speaking English, not because we hate your church and we're going to close it. It just didn't make sense to have 7 churches in one town that's 5 miles wide, so there's that. But when you have Irish and Italian, I mean, that's the biggest rival in Scranton. I grew up in South Scranton.
Is it really that strong?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, man.
My last name's Augelli and I'm in Southside by Manuka
Okay.
and I'm playing sports and I'm dominating these kids, but it's like, oh, this and oh, this. And,
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, man.
I didn't know.
And-
I don't come from that world.
And you just kind of got pushed to the side and
Really?
you just had to keep fighting.
Yeah.
And then I left Scranton and went to West Side, which was a big deal.
Really blue, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much. Sports have brought me a long way, but I
What
really
were your
don't play
sports?
basketball. I was,
You're a basketball
I was
guy?
a big basketball guy. Yeah, big time. I was so much so I was playing at the courts in Manuka with a buddy of mine. I won't say his name, but
Was it an O or a...
oh no, and a hyphen. And we were playing. I'll never forget. We were at South Scranton Intermediate, and this big, long black SUV rolls up to the courts. You boys want to play basketball for
Yeah.
Holy Rosary?
Oh.
And I'm like,
Wasn't that movie with Nick Nolte?
and I'm like, what? And they're like,
Holy
yeah.
Rosary down in Wilkes-Barre?
No, here in North
Wait,
Scranton.
so
Oh, I'm thinking Holy Dream. Okay.
Yeah.
because they could actually
They could recruit.
Yes.
So you could recruit, but I mean, you don't
Oh.
have to
couldn't.
go to school there. You just have to join the parish. So we kind of like raised all these eyebrows.
Really? That's what you had to do?
You had to. Oh, wow.
rules
You
are
didn't have to go to
rules.
the church?
Rules
You
are
didn't have to go
rules.
to school?
Rules are rules. As long as you belong to the parish, you
Wow.
could play. So,
That's why they always
so
dominated.
they knew this, and there was a lot of meetings about you're bringing these 2 guys into the league, and this is the first time. There's actually rules created of what happened going forward.
After that?
Yeah,
Oh, my! Created a new rule.
there was rules made because we
Oh my
just
goodness.
came in and we would dominate and just. What are you going to
So-
do? I mean, it makes sense.
My son and his friends. So my son's a senior at Scranton High School. They just had a pretty good basketball
Awesome
season. So, but he's kind of like the smaller of the group, like shorter, skinnier of the group. And so what they used to do is they would go to the Y when they were all like 14, 15 years old. And they would send him in and be like, hey, some of my friends are coming. We should play a game to these adults. And
He was the mark.
my son, he's a good little trash talker. So he'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, like you guys don't look like much. And they'd be like, oh, really? Put some money on it. He'd be like, all right, $20 a guy. And then all these kids would roll in, and it just happens to be like all the kids that just went further than any Scranton High School basketball team.
That's like rolling in with the early 90s
Yeah.
Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
And he would come home, and I'd be like, where'd you get $100 from? He's like, at the Y.
Hustling.
Yeah.
There's
Like,
nothing wrong
so
with that. Good for
First
him.
thing I do is call my lawyer. I'm like, how much trouble is he in? He goes, technically none. So
Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
But he has to claim the taxes.
So
on it.
here's the thing. I think it's illegal to make the approach. It's not illegal to accept. So as long as they say, we'll play you for money, done.
I've never played street hustle ball. So
and he's a juvenile, so I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
So
I've
how
done
did
worse at their age.
so how did you get into the business that you're in right now? How did you?
Ooh, that's a good one. Came out of the military.
Okay, I kind of want to go back to the military. How'd you get in the military?
So here we go again. Scranton boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The stigma of going to the military in our area is like,
What stigma?
just the stigma in general. You go into the military, it's like, well, why?
Yeah.
Really?
Like, think
is that
about
a
it. We
thing?
have vets that come home and it's like, we push them to the side. It's not like we have these big parades like Desert Storm and we actually care about our military people in general. It's kind of a stigma like, oh, you're going to the military?
It is. I've never really thought about it, but you don't hear about that a lot in this area.
No.
Like, I mean, where I come from in Tennessee, it's like a good like 30% go.
it's not,
pretty common.
and it's not like you're going to do that. Like down there,
it's like, oh, good for you.
Yeah, good for you. There's
Going to
no
serve your country.
hype here. You know, it's not like
That
that
is
up
true
here.
when you think about it.
holy shit! I never really thought about that.
Yeah, when I left high school, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had nothing really going on. I had a really broken home life. You know, it just wasn't a good place.
Right.
I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, I'm going to move to Florida. Screw it.
Land of the free.
You know, move to Florida. Everybody says that. But my intentions were to gain citizenship, because then you get tax-free.
Oh, like citizen in Florida.
In Florida.
Not like you're an illegal immigrant.
You need 6 months.
Residency.
You need
And then you
6
get
months
free college,
residency.
right?
No, that's like a year. Like
Yeah.
Then you can enroll. But 6 months, and then you're tax exempt from the state. So why would I enroll up here in Scranton,
Right.
go to MEPS and pay 3.7% tax?
Yeah.
I could go
true.
to Florida, enlist, and go from there. And then they usually send you closer to where you're from, right? So that was me. I kicked my chair.
Oh, okay.
So by enrolling down in Florida, I was stationed in Jacksonville. Whereas if I enrolled up
Do you know
here,
that's the largest city in America
I would've
land wise? Jacksonville, Florida.
Really?
I would have been in Virginia. And I'd much
So
rather
you
be in
got
Jacksonville.
stationed down in Florida.
Yeah. Yep.
What branch?
Navy.
Okay.
Quick stint. 2 years I had to do overpopulated. I was up in the mast, like up with the captain. Grandfather fell ill back home. Red Cross sent me home. Still didn't pass away. Went back. I had a shit poor attitude because the one guy that was stable in my life is now dying.
Yeah.
Right.
So the captain kind of knew, like, the jelly's not the same, you know? And the biggest opportunity I was given was a letter that I came into work, and it said, you will be honorably discharged early from the military with all your benefits minus your GI Bill. But you have to do the inactive research, you know, whatever it was. So I looked at him. He knew, I knew, waited 2 weeks, came home, enrolled at the University of Scranton.
Four. You no
Pre-law.
major? Pre-law.
Yeah.
Pre-law.
So I went pre-law at the University of Scranton, studied pretty damn hard there.
Yeah.
At the same time, probably throwing one of the largest underage drinking
Parties?
parties in.
Was this when they had like the Stone House, the Red House?
They were
It was before
they
they
were
tore
around.
down, like,
they
that
were around.
block?
I had the old Scranton mayor's house right across from the CYC, and it was the windows. I had trash bags stapled to the wall. I mean, people still talk about these parties. 3,500 square foot basement, 3,500 square foot floors. I mean, it was huge. And,
Oh my God.
And I mean, toga. I mean, you name it, right? So
What year's this?
we're going back.
Back when college was good.
07, 06, 07,
Okay.
somewhere
I
around
was
there.
out of the I was out of the scene.
It was bad to the
Okay.
point where it was St. Patrick's Day, and I'm like, oh, you know, I run for St. Ubaldo. All the guys are coming down. Let's make red shirts. Says St. Patrick is Italian. We'll walk down to the fucking parade in them.
Oh, okay.
and
That
on the
makes-
back it says 78 days to St. Ubaldo, and we'll just see what happens.
instigate
Yeah.
the shit
Yeah.
out of the
We'll just-
Irish.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Believe it or
everybody's
not.
drunk at
Yeah.
10 in the morning.
None of these people punch their
So-
mothers at funerals. Let's do this.
There's already 300 people in my house. There's 17 kegs of beer chained up along the
boy.
pipe in the basement.
17 kegs
We
of
have
beer.
a live band down in the one corner. We have ice luges here. Cool. I mean, it was a full on whatever. Come on, we're going down the parade. We all have red shirts on. We walked to the parade. More people wanted them, believe it or not. You're like, hey, look at us. And other guys like, how dare you? I'm like, fuck you. Like, who gives a shit? You know? Like,
It's all a
kiss my
joke,
ass.
man.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like 20 of us wearing red shirts.
Right.
Go fuck yourself.
Right.
You know? But you know, just to push that button and see. But what happened is there's 30 shirts. I went to a local place.
Yeah.
They're still in business, and they charged me like $30 a piece, and that's back then.
Right.
Like, what the hell? I had this in high school. Like,
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it happened. I just got fucked by a local company, and I'm like, hey, I could do it better, and I just started.
Are you kidding me?
learn-
That's
And that's
it.
how you created
And
the company.
That's how it started. Just like that.
That's how every
So-
company starts, though.
so-
It's just- yeah, well, just
So this is how it actually started. So after that epic party,
Oh, thanks for the lie, Ron.
After the epic party that happened, I was visiting my stepmother where she worked, which happened to be a law office. And I was pulled into a boardroom by the attorneys. And they're like, so if you don't stop what you're doing, you're going to fucking jail.
Like the party
Basically.
house?
Yeah, like you're going to
Okay.
go
Oh,
to
yeah,
jail.
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's people there who are 21, 30, all the way down to maybe 19. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's underage. It's party.
Right,
Like
yeah.
if you're in college, I don't give a shit. Come to the fucking party.
Right.
You know? We had professors there. We had people from all over the place.
They knew. They all knew.
Think about it. You go to the bar, happy hour's over, no more pennies on the bar. Now you're paying what? $4 a draft? Come to
that
the party, $10, all you could drink all night long.
Yeah.
That's a good business, though,
College
isn't it?
girls, right? I like stacks every weekend. Right?
Really?
Oh,
oh
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought about being an entrepreneur at those things. I never thought
I
about
mean,
that.
that was always in me, so I grew up, like I said, I've been hustling since a young, got a job at 13, cutting grass, anything I could. I mean,
Right.
I used to so much as go to the dollar store, buy phone accessories for Nokias and sell them to my teachers for 9 times. So $10. Like I would
Really?
yeah. So I always had that. But in college, after I got the ultimatum, hey, you're going to go to jail if you don't stop this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, this t-shirt thing, let me just start dabbling around. So I took my last seed money from the party, which was roughly about $350. And I bought some basic supplies, which was some wood to make a screen, a staple gun, and some mesh, capillary film, a squeegee, and some black ink.
That's it.
And that's how it started.
First job, made $100. So now I put that $100,
Yeah.
saved it, made a couple more, and I wasn't really charging. It was more like, you buy the shirts, I'll print them. You like them, you could pay for them because I got to learn.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you go into business, a lot of people jump right in.
Yep.
Right.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna drown real
Yeah.
fast.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing was, hey, I'll build this over time, get really good at it, and then it'll start flourishing little by little. So like I said, I was in college. It wasn't a main gig, but all of a sudden it's like made $600. I bought a screen press.
Yeah.
And now I start getting like really into
Just
it.
kind of went from there.
Girls are coming over and they're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on in here? You making meth or something? Like, there's all this shit ever. I'm like, I'm making t-shirts. Just chill out.
Right.
So it was quite the journey in the beginning. And then when I graduated, like I had to get a job. I was a full-time,
Yeah, but
student.
were you still doing pre-law?
Yeah, I was studying at the University of Scranton
So you were going to go to law school.
right. So to the point where pick or choose. Like, what are you going to do? I had to go back to work. I couldn't be a full-time student during the day.
Yeah, you're not Van Wilder.
Yeah, like what am I going to do? So
Uh-huh.
I started taking night classes at Lackawanna through Misericordia, dropped out of the law program, and just went for business because I just have that attitude, so whatnot. So right out of there, I get a job. I'm a trainer, doing admissions, getting people motivated,
Right.
doing really, really good. And the business
Like
was
physical training?
no, like
Oh.
sales training.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
I don't know what I
I'm
talk
corporate
about.
America,
Mhm.
cubicle job,
Yeah, yeah.
travel,
Right.
admissions, get people into colleges, hype them up. And it was a cool job. I loved it. But when you work in corporate America, there's a lot of promises, like the steps that you
Uh-huh.
have to go. And then you get there and you're like, well, you're too good at what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you said if I got here, I get
Yeah.
this. And I'm like, I quit.
They
Like,
told you were too good at what
too
you
good
do?
at what you do and you're irreplaceable. And I'm like, I am burned out. Like I've been here for this long and I'm getting burned out because of how much it takes
Yeah.
for me to do what you're not even requiring. I went above and beyond, So they like, give us 6 months and we'll move you into that job. 6 months game. See you later. I just walked out again.
Wow.
And I had this kind of part-time in my house. The first house I bought, I moved it into the basement and I'm just, hey, you need shirts? It was word of mouth.
Right.
That's all it was at that
Right.
point. And I said, screw it.
And that's how you're paying your bills.
No, well, I was working full time and mastering my craft at night.
Right.
Right. So when I left corporate America, that's all I had.
That's what I was saying. Like,
Yeah. That's all I had for a little bit.
Right.
Right. So that was about 2011, April ish is when I said, I'm out of corporate
Is
America.
it a big corporate America company or is it?
It was. Yeah. Now
Are you
it's,
not- are
now
you not-
it's like real down.
Okay. So who is it?
I don't know.
Come on.
Well, because of the people still work in the area, I don't want to say it.
Oh, okay. All
There you
right.
go.
Well, we don't have to be. I thought
It was a business school. We'll put it at that.
A business school.
You know, remember that whole thing where
Does that Trump you?
ITT.
You remember where like,
ITT Tech.
remember like people were enticing people into business schools by marketing and advertising, and there's this huge statewide, shutdown of, enticing kids to come to school.
Oh, I thought you were talking about March of
I'm trying to remember
2020.
what it might be.
No, not that stuff. But like it's just unfair practices versus
Yeah.
traditional college to get them into business.
I mean, a
school.
lot of times though, isn't that like it's like somebody almost has like this weird get rich quick scheme, and it seems like a scam from the start that will never exist.
But it was a school.
Yeah, but I think
They have to play by different rules.
Yeah,
than
like
businesses.
you still had
no. I understand that, but it seems like a lot of people get involved in stuff like that to be like just to make the money.
Yeah, this is a
And they
mega
cut
corporation.
corners.
They had like 35 campuses all over the United
Oh,
States.
holy shit!
Yeah, like
Oh.
it was a mega school, and it was a very large numbered school.
He's not going to tell you.
And this isn't just business. It was all business schools that got sliced in half by the government because the funds just were
Make no facial expression. Show me your poker face. University of Phoenix.
No.
Okay.
No.
Thought I got it.
But it's
I don't know.
Same kind of model, right? Just more of a
Right,
campus
right.
based, not an online school. More campus based, right?
All right.
So, you get
But it
somebody.
was local, right?
Yeah, they were local.
Okay.
But, but they were all over. So you had a 2-year degree for the cost of a 4-year degree. That's what they just don't disclose, So it's just, I couldn't do it either. It was just like mentally, like, when I found out what was going on, I'm like, fucking gone. I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be a part of this shit, you know? So when I left.
Did you literally feel like dirty?
No, I didn't feel dirty. I'm just like, I'm not going to be a part of this.
Okay.
When the thing started unrolling.
Well,
like if
when
the writing's on the
when
wall.
it hits the fan, I don't want to be standing here.
When the new ownership took over, it was not the same thing we were doing.
Right.
So like within 3 weeks, I left because I'm like, I'm not doing this shit.
Right.
This doesn't seem right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not selling timeshares here. I'm trying to get kids to have a better life out of high
yeah,
school. Ones that
yeah.
didn't get a shot to get into a 4-year degree, get them to a 4-year school. And now you're just like, enroll as many people as you can. They're going to pay X, Y, Z. It was just a whole gamut. So the government cracked and shut it down. Anyway, I left that world and I had this little part-time gig out of my basement, which was generating like $2,000 a month, clear after I pay taxes and everything else. Like it was great, just print shirts. And I used to go to the CTC and I would bring them whatever I had left over, just supplies to Mr. Frick's class. He was the guy.
That's the Career Technology Center,
Career
right?
Technology, Lackawanna County. So I walk in there like, he died. What? Yeah, he had a heart attack like 3 months ago. I'm like, speechless, standing there like, well, who are you? And I'm like, well, my name's Ron. I donate stuff and I have a little t-shirt business and I'm just dropping stuff off. Well, could we talk to you? Sure. So I start, they haven't had a teacher for a couple months. Like, would you fill it? There's 2 weeks left of school. Would you fill in as a substitute and teach high school? I'm like, fuck no. It's exact words in my face. Just that's what I felt. And I'm looking at him like, no.
Yeah.
Thank you though. And I left. And the guy slipped me his card on the way out. He's like, hey, but if you want to just come in and sit here just to watch the kids, like you have the experience, you have a degree, just come in. And I'm like, what the fuck? I have nothing going on. So I called him back that Monday. I'm like, yeah, I'll come in. And I loved it. Like I got in there and I'm teaching a trade that I self-taught myself, from graphic design all the way to the production part of it. And then so you get sales, business, graphic design, printing, the full thing. And I'm teaching
distribution,
just everything.
Yeah.
Finishing any business cycle from sales, marketing, advertising, graphic design to the print, to the end product, to the user. And the kids were just like sitting there like, this is freaking great. So they're like, so what do you think?
You taught them how to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Like I'm teaching them a trade.
Yeah.
I'm teaching them I self-taught myself. I didn't go to school for anything I do except for business, which was a big fucking waste of money. Big fucking waste of money. Thank you, Mr. Cordia, for taking all of my money at an early age for a piece of paper that is worthless piece of shit.
What's the old joke? It's like you wouldn't give a 17-year-old a $100,000 loan to go start a business. Why would you give him $100,000 to go to school?
I should have taken the advice to the business lady at Lackawanna College when I went there for open house.
Yeah.
You don't need a college degree, Ron.
Yeah.
I should have just listened to her there.
Yeah.
But again, we're herded at that age. Like you have to get a 4-year degree. What are you going to do? Not once.
Why do you think no one ever has been? Because my brother-in-law, right? He's a mason, so he's in the trades, right?
Beautiful. That's where it's at.
He's like, we are running out of.
That's not it. Oh, that's not it. They were in that circle for sure.
Oh, great! Now
I'm trying.
Not only do we not have a sponsor, we're about to get sued.
It's in the paper.
It's all over the U.S. But
yeah.
I just got a text.
I'll keep
message.
looking.
Lieutenant Governor candidate Teddy Daniels, wife obtains PFA order against him.
Ooh.
Don't know.
That's going to be juicy.
Either of them are. But
Well, you don't care about politics, do you?
I don't listen.
No.
I don't give a shit.
What did you?
Well, because I think that's a mentality that a lot of people like yourself have. You're a self-starter. You're a self-made guy. You don't need anything from anybody. You don't want to give anything to anybody.
Well,
except out of the generosity of your heart.
Right.
So it's like, why would you care?
I had a choice. So this is where the politics does get involved.
Right.
Okay. So now I'm trying to get into a Scranton / school district that is funded by all of the school districts in the area. because now they're like, oh, you want to be the teacher? Sure. Okay. Well, we're going to have a board meeting, which consists of all the superintendents.
Oh, because the CTC is funded by all the other school districts.
All their schools.
Yeah, okay.
So, we all know how that, I mean, you know how it works around here.
Sure.
There's so much fucking nepotism in some of these school districts.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely absurd for a guy who actually works in school districts. When I go in there, I'm actually sick to my stomach. Like, your teachers don't have fucking paper, but you want to spend $65,000 on football uniforms?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out. I go by my gut.
Yeah.
That's how I run my business.
Yeah.
Not by...
Because it doesn't, it's most children are not going to be
like, I don't want
professional athletes.
No, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, that's another part I get into. But so I have to play, not politics, but I didn't know how hard it is to become a teacher in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was mine. They're like, oh, well, this guy's nephew. And it's like, okay, I'll just wait it out,
Yeah.
And I remember pacing in my dad's backyard in North Scranton going, do I have the job?
The
board
job
meeting,
that you did.
the job that I've been doing for the last 2 weeks.
So you actually enjoyed.
That I enjoyed, and they really want me there. But, when it opens up to the public, like, you don't know. Like,
wow.
I mean, I just saw a school district post a job, and it's like, hey, our teacher for this area has retired, but the person we're looking for has to have a designated degree with a engineering and architectural degree to teach social studies. What the you're talking about, right?
But isn't it proof in and of itself, right? And I'm not advocating against schooling, right? But it seems to me
this should be interesting
that you didn't do all the things that you were told that you had to do.
In what?
Well, like you're self-taught about screen printing, right? And doing all that, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't go to school for that.
No, there's no.
Yeah.
You never had a business before you did that. I mean, in essence, did you really need to go to school to learn about business?
No. So that's where.
So that's my point.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're telling you that like you're not qualified to do this when you know a lot of people that are qualified to do it shouldn't be there doing it.
We are a society where we're trained to work for other people. That is what they do. They institutionalize you to day one. You step in the kindergarten. Sit here, do this
in a row,
do that,
like the old school factory.
Exactly, in row,
Yep.
and that's how society is trained.
Oh my God, I never thought about that.
I break that fucking mold every day.
Yeah.
Did you see that as a kid where you're like, man, something's fucked up here?
I mean, you have to conform. Like I would always watch, but I'd always be the kid to question.
Yeah.
And I was the worst student, but also a really good student because I wasn't afraid to step outside the comfort zone because I wasn't afraid to be quiet.
Right.
And people don't like people who aren't quiet. They get very intimidated. And then they take stuff personal. It's like, no, I'm just asking questions. I'm loud and proud and I want to know. Like, you're saying it is this way. Why?
Yeah.
Is there another way? So I didn't mean it in a bad way. It's just, I'm asking questions.
But in your brain, you're like, this makes sense. This can't
makes
seem
sense.
like,
But so think about it. That's how you grow up. You eat lunch at a time. You go outside at a time, just like a break, just like a lunch, and you go home at a specific time and you return the next day. We are institutionalized from a very young age to work for other people. When you get to college, that's why I'm saying the degree I got was a business administration degree, but it wasn't for running a business or managing people. It was how to conform to work for a corporation.
In middle management.
This is how we work. This is how you operate. This is how this works. Stocks. Like it's all broken down for you to better understand what it's like to be a follower.
I never thought about it that way.
I can't remember when that clicked for me. It probably was maybe about 10 years ago. It clicked for me. You even look at
I thought about it, but I
get
never.
a little personal. But here it is. So you look.
Put your penis away.
You look at Scranton High School versus Scranton Prep. Okay, my kids go to Scranton High School. I know a lot of people, a lot of good families. Scranton Prep, but both sides. But at Scranton High School, you are taught to be a worker, even down to the languages they teach and the reasons behind it. At Prep, you are taught to be
a leader,
essentially. I mean, there's a reason they teach.
Well, maybe that's called preparatory school.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. But like, think about it though. It's still the same high school ages, but you're learning French, German, or Spanish. At Prep, you have to take Latin. What two professions use Latin? Lawyers and doctors.
Right. And I learned this when I went to the University of Scranton because there's only 26 or 27 Jesuit schools, college universities in the country, right? So it's a very exclusive thing to get into, right? But again, you could make it in any school. It's if you put the work in.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It doesn't matter what school you go to. Of course, you'll have some advantages in some other schools. I'm not disagreeing to that.
But you also have disadvantages in other schools
I am
too.
a prodigy of Scranton School District. I that's what I came from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and I do extremely well for myself. Extremely well from Scranton. You know, you know,
what is it? Would you can come from anywhere and succeed. The only difference is how expensive are the drugs.
What? What does that mean? I turned into a Muppet there. What does that mean, Micah?
If you're from a rich family, you can afford better drugs. That's what the kids all say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that? I was like a vacuum cleaner. So
you know, it's different. It's you know, like we said, business.
But it's upsetting to me to hear you say that, where it's like you're not empowering children to
I really
take advantage of this experience called life.
I see the education system is being broken currently, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I see that they put money, everybody deserves an education.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a strong believer of that.
Sure.
But when I see funding in these meeting minutes going to the bottom level of the schools, instead of turning a mediocre student into a better student or a better student into a higher learner student, I just have a problem with that. I'm not saying that society,
Because you're kind of teaching to the one.
Well, I mean,
the bottom, like, and
I mean,
so,
say all the funding goes to the bottom part of the student, not all of it, but a majority of, I mean,
Yeah.
the government gives more to the bottom out of the budget to be funded, and everybody gets an education. There's no doubt. Everybody deserves an education. But these kids like myself, who just sat there in class and did whatever I had to do just to get through.
Yeah.
Because there was 35 to 40 kids in my class. If they were to have better funding or have more, you know, stuff that they could teach with. I mean, stuff I had was 20 years old and my book was 10 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
it was still racist.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, right. So, I mean, it was just but if you could give more in the middle, you're going to move people up to the top. But again, they don't want that. They don't want people to be educated.
Well, because when everything's fixed, you have nothing to fix.
When people are smart, they're not going to follow what they say. I mean, it's a disgusting circle and wheel, and
So
hopefully it gets broken.
So my mom was a teacher, and you know, one of the things that was always like striking to me was that a lot of the times, you know, like everybody can agree that there's a different caliber of student, and that's just luck of the draw. Like that's not taking sides or groups or any of that shit. But the problem is like students like you, who I would have considered more intelligent, but you weren't challenged, so you weren't engaged, you know? So there's not like, it made a lot of sense to me before when you were like, we're institutionalized, which means we don't need no education. Everyone is taught the same thing, the same way. And people don't learn that way. Once you get out of school, you're like, oh, maybe I'm more auditory or tactile or visual. And you're not challenged by that.
All types of learning people, you know, you have all different types of learning styles that people are, you know, and they clearly will make that stand out. But when June rolls around, guess what's coming? The real fucking world. The yellow school bus doesn't show up anymore and the lunches aren't free.
And they're not prepared for it.
And they're not prepared. So when you have kids that just, what are they going to do after high school?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reality to how far someone could go, right?
Well,
when school's over, it's over. Where are they going?
Yeah.
What's going on?
You got to figure it out.
And then it's
like I had students, my first year students, and I was just like besides myself, like you guys have no idea how easy you have it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have it very easy as a student.
My kids used to say
have
that.
heat during the fucking day.
sometimes
in the school.
I think West Side went down a couple of times.
Yeah, sometimes. But I mean, you have people watching you. You have people comforting you. When high school is over, I mean, that's a big milestone in life. That's it. So what are you doing next? What is going to make you get through life? So I would give them this motivational speech every I had 2 graduating classes, and it was just very blunt.
Yeah.
Like
honest.
You are in charge of what you do every day when you walk across that stage. Like you are in charge. What you do in your life is your choice, and the choices you make will reflect your outcome.
Yeah.
Not what mommy and daddy have. I mean, it's nice, I mean, if you have that nice backbone, which, you know, we all want to give our kids everything. I didn't have that luxury. Didn't have it all. My mom worked her ass off, single mom. My dad I had everything I could as a kid. I wouldn't never trade it for the world, but it makes you appreciate so much more now.
Yeah.
Into the fact that I will never fail because I never want to go back
Right.
to where I came from. Ever.
You have perspective.
I will never, you know, so I see a lot of people my age that just had the easy streak and they're failing miserably.
Well, they don't know how to fight.
They don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's like.
Well, it's like what you see, like Conor McGregor's a good example. He was ferocious. He was an animal. Then he got a little money. Now he's losing all the time.
Is he?
Oh yeah. You lose that fight like that. If you had to work your ass off to get where you are, like my wife, we're in the same boat.
Absolutely.
It's like we came from, I mean, below nothing at certain, you know, early on in our marriage and to where we are now. And it's funny, like my kids, they don't realize, like they just remember the past 2 or 3 years. They don't remember the
bad
insanity.
Eating bugs.
Well, when we first moved up here from New Jersey, I was working for Lowe's. I was like sales specialist, doors and windows, and we had no money, like literally no money. And something got messed up at the corporate end with my paychecks. I didn't get a paycheck for like 2 months.
And that hurts.
And we already had no money.
That hurts.
So we went and bought 2 huge bags of rice and 2 canned hams. And that's what we lived on for 2 months.
Are you shitting me?
Yep. Lauren didn't leave the house. We had Phoenix at the time. She didn't leave the house because gas. I would drive to work, drive home. That was it. And then like once every 10 days, we would go get 2 more bags of rice and 2 canned hams. And that's what we ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day for 2 months.
Unless you live that, you will not even know how to appreciate that, because that is something you will always reflect on, never to want to return to.
Yeah.
Like I would rather die than ever have to go back to a time like that in my life.
Well, it's so funny now with like our kids, and it's like, oh, you know, Phoenix turned 18. We spent a little bit more money on them than we normally would. He's like, man, like
2 canned hams.
And I'm like, whoa. Like, whoa. He'll be like, Dad, do we have money? And I'm like, no, we do not have money. I have money. You have nothing. You got to go earn yours.
Yeah.
So
no, and you're right. And you know, that brings me back to the teaching times. That's right when I was teaching. And it's right at the time that I met my future wife by accident, because I was walking across. I had a huge Baldo party.
Oh, Ron,
I must have drank a fucking half a gallon of tequila. I fell through the fucking
Ron is a love story. It sounds exactly like Ron.
Like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I am graduating today at Misericordia. Holy shit. I'm fucking hungover. I'm sweating. I smell like fuck. I mean, it was terrible. I open up the closet door. It falls right off. I'm like, oh shit. Like it's not even my house. I grabbed my cap and gown in my car and hung it in my friend's closet. And I pulled the door right off the hinges first thing in the morning.
Holy shit.
And I'm like driving up to Dallas. Been on campus maybe 4 times because I'm an adult learner at night down here. So
right.
Oh my goodness.
Here we go. And I go through the function of the day, you know, and I'm like this sweating bullet. My pincer, I mean, everything. I was a black gown. I'm like, where's the bar? Like, I just need to
little
do
hair
something
of the dog
here.
Yeah.
It's terrible. So at the time, it was right around the time where I had to make a really difficult choice, which was to cut out some family. Which,
in hindsight, that's usually like, why didn't I do this sooner?
It's true.
Yep.
It's true. But I mean, for me, I had to do it. I had people in my life where it's like,
sucky buses?
What I was building, well, I did this for him, and that's why.
You owe me.
You owe me.
Yeah.
It's been like that my whole life. So
really?
I said, fuck, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I took a huge break, and I built what I have today on my back with help of no one.
Yeah.
And I wanted it that way. And it was real tough. I mean, it's hard not talking to your mom, you know, sister. I mean, it was nothing. It was just something I had
boundaries,
to do.
man.
It was a boundary. And they were
Yeah.
stepping over it. And it was who I was dating. They hated everything. And I was sick of it. You know, it was a
I love you
revolving
all,
cycle. Right. So
Boundaries.
at the time, it was my stepmother and my dad. I walk across stage and they're like, so do you want to go and celebrate? I'm like, I'm going to go print t-shirts. I don't give a shit. Like, that the paper didn't even come. It's fake in the thing. Like, they're going to mail it. Like, there's nothing to sell. Like, what do you want to do? Get a slice of pizza? Like, I don't give a shit. It's just another here. Put it on the wall. You know, at that point. So I'm like, I'm just going to go and print t-shirts so I could get ahead. Right. So I go home. It's like late afternoon and I fire out like 50 St. Anthony t-shirts. And I'm a St. Ubaldo guy. If you know from the area, there's 3 teams. So St. Ubaldo, St. George, St. Anthony. I get their box and they're having a party that night over at the Jessup Legion. great. I'll
This
deliver.
is the night of your graduation.
This is the night of the graduation. Like we're leading up to the festivities of Jessup. It's the Saturday before race.
Yeah.
The Friday night before there was a huge party. Like I said, I got completely shit fit. Like
broke a closet.
Like here I am. I'm down in the basement.
You came out of the closet.
I'm smoking. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And I'm printing these shirts. Oh my fucking God. I'm like drinking, I got shoes on, they're busted out. I look like a fucking hobo. I have a mischief hat on. I used to call it mischief hat because whenever I had it on, anything,
danger zone,
anything was going to happen, right? It's
the word no does not exist.
Bottle week. All I do is party all weekend, all week long. So I deliver these shirts and I'm standing at the bar at the Legion and I just glance I could see it right now because it's this time of year. And I glance to my right and through the door, I see this gorgeous woman who I've never seen in all the years of participating in this day.
Did you hear Dreamweaver?
Never seen. No, I never seen her. But I look and I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Now in the meantime, like I'm single. I just got out of a fucking horrible relationship. I mean, it was like I'm having a good time. I don't.
Right.
But when I saw her, it's like, who the hell is that? I'm thinking to myself. And little did I know, her aunt came over to the lady standing next to me, who I didn't know was her aunt. And like, who's that? And we met and we chatted. And my wife's like, we hit it off. It's like,
were you drinking again? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean,
or were you just like that hungover conversation?
She's doing shots and she's like, oh, you want to do a shot? I'm like, yeah, let's do a butter nipple. Fucking boom. We're slamming it back. We start talking. I'm like, where are you from? Who are you? You know anybody from this area? And the conversation just happened. Right.
Yeah.
So, she caught my attention. I caught her attention. So, I'm the only guy wearing gold in a black t-shirt party for St. Anthony. Like I'm the only, like, it's like Romeo and Juliet, Capulet and Montague. Like I was that, you know what I mean? Like, and, she's telling me like, oh, I'm like, hey, so what would like, why I want to go skydiving, like all this stuff. I'm like, wow, just Six Wild, this is great. So, I'm like, hey, could we meet up again? She's like, sure. But she left with her aunts. Okay, cool. So that night I just wrote her an email. And the next thing you know, like that whole week was like Love Boat. It was just like, just fell in love.
Love Boat email?
No, we just fell in, like she came to every event and we got to know each other through the whole Baldo week.
It just happened that quickly.
And it just happened. Like when when you see that person and you instantly connect and she's a woman. She wasn't a child. She wasn't, she's an actual woman. Like I was the underdog. Like this.
Oh, so you're punching above your weight.
Oh, I had married up. I'll be the first one to ever.
We all did. This whole room did.
I married up.
It's unbelievable.
Right? But it's she absolutely amazed me from the first day I ever saw her, and that whole week was we just fell in love. Like all the parties, all the meeting people.
Yeah. You did it together.
The signs from above, like.
She never got drunk and threw your phone or anything?
No, nothing like you know what I mean? Like I was in a relationship like that. It was nothing like that.
Yeah.
It was just pure. It worked. It was great. We fell in love, whatnot. Right. So that's again, the next part of this was now it's a year later of teaching. Yeah. The serious moment of, hey, we're going to move in together and I'm going to rent my house out and I'll move up with you, but you live in the country. So how am I going to run the business? Let's open up our first store.
Really?
And we got engaged. We got engaged. Sorry. That 4th of July weekend, a year later, I asked her to marry me.
That's great, man.
We move in together.
Do you remember what day you got engaged? Remember the date?
July 3rd.
That's my birthday.
Come on.
Hell yeah. And Tom Cruise. So if you want to go see
not everything can be good if you want one day.
I hope the date's right. But it was 4th of July weekend.
If you want to go see Maverick in 3 weeks, you let me know.
And it was and there was t-shirts. I did on t-shirts. I had the people that were in my life at the time. She came down the lake. All of her family and friends were there. She came down and they turned around and said, "Will you marry me?" on the t-shirts. Right. So.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And but anyway, from that we moved in. We opened up our first store.
So when you say you opened up your first store, did you have like a retail store, like a
retail, like the size of this room was the first store.
And you like selling t-shirts. So you don't just do custom printing.
Printing t-shirts out of this little space and selling novelty tees for the area. So there was like Blakely Bears, Archbold Rams, Jessup Green Wave, like all the old high school. So town culture was in Jessup. And then I sold St. Ubaldo gear. I was one of the providers and I could sell there. But that was seasonal, but I was doing it part-time. I couldn't have this up the country. I didn't have the room.
Yeah.
So we opened up our first store. Now that there's some traffic and people, coming by, it just started growing little by little.
And what year was this?
2012.
Wow.
almost 2013,
So how much growth have you had since
A lot.
2012?
Like an exhausting amount. But so from 2012,
I've never seen the aerial view of whatever you have,
yeah,
so
we'll,
I don't.
we'll go. So from a college dorm to a basement to a room this big to, hey, shit, we're out of room, got to move here.
Yeah.
Right? To working literally from 7, being in a classroom from 7 until 3, and then working from 3:30 until 2 in the morning and repeating that cycle. It got exhausting. And I kept doing it because, hey, got a nice salary and I'm making a nice
Benefits.
income. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she's, what are you doing? Like, you're going
You're gonna burn out, man.
to die. Like,
Yeah.
you're literally not sleeping. You're working around the clock and you're just building and working. And she's like, what's stopping you? I'm like, no one believes in me. Like, there's not like you have to understand what success, like you run a bit.
Yeah.
There's not people going, come to the end zone.
Uh-huh.
Congratulations.
There
You've
is-
done this.
yeah,
there's
none.
there's nobody.
Every day you got to fight for your dinner.
To the point, it's like, I have none of my friends, none of them, except for a few from back in the day. But all the people that I hung out with in my 20s, I mean, they're acquaintances. I'll say hi to them, but I had to change everything because they, the mentality, they clocked in,
They couldn't
clocked
come on
out,
the journey with
they
you.
drank, they
Yeah.
did that. And I'm just like, I'm in a completely different zone now. Like I have figured out a path. So I started surrounding myself with people who are like-minded where I can have a conversation like, hey, how do I 1099 somebody? Do I need to become an LLC? Do I need to get this, So when that change happened, she goes, well, I believe in you. And when we met, like, she was eating ramen. I think I ate tuna and I'll never eat tuna again. Like, it was, I mean, we had $500.
That's how I am with ham.
She just went through a divorce. I
Yeah.
just got out of an engagement. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like, it was a nightmare, it was just a nightmare. And, we both had nothing. She's like, well, I believe in you. So that second year of teaching, I didn't return after Thanksgiving. I had to resign from my position as a teacher, which was a huge shock because I built an awesome program over there.
Mm-hmm.
New machines, got all the funding.
CDC?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the best print shop, programs in the state, like as far as what they have there to print on. So I kind of had to make the choice, go all in or stay teaching and work
what
my
year is
butt
this?
off. 2013, 14.
Oh, so this is relatively like
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
You would have died, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I remember like not returning. I take a trip to Florida.
Yeah.
I'm back on terms with my mom and sister because when I met my, future wife, she's like, why don't you talk to your family? And I told her why. And she's like, well, just keep them on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
But you're Italian, you should have a family.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I have a fucking family. Trust me.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
huge and
Yeah.
they're fucking crazy. And she's
Yeah.
like, well, you haven't met mine yet. I'm like, I met a couple and yeah, we agree. So, but the cool thing is both our families meshed really, really well.
Yeah.
So much in common. It was like we were all
One
already
big happy
married.
family. Yeah.
I mean, they were so excited. Like you meet the love, just the aura. Like when we're together, people want to be around you. Not like, holy shit, they're fucked up. Right. So I remember the first day walking into my shop and sitting there for 8 hours at my desk going, what the fuck do I do? Like you have 8 hours now of time where I was working for somebody else.
Right.
What do I do with this free 8 hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like I'm free. Finally. Like there's nobody. It's me. I'm the only person in control. So I sat there for 8 hours going, shouldn't I fucking be doing something? Like I'm so used to working and then going to work.
Right.
So now there's all this extra time. Fucking doubled my business because now I have the 8 hours during the day
And you're still
to
just
go out and do sales.
and but it's still just you.
It's still just me. Yeah. And I had my cousin at the time, part-time. I taught her how to print in my basement too, which is a great story. She's still with me today. But I'd be like, watch out, Amy. And I'd be chucking boxes of shirts down the basement at her. And she'd be moving out of the way, like thousands of shirts coming down the hallway. So we quickly grew out of that space, got another shop. I hired her. She was my first employee, and
She's 001.
she's 001. Yeah, from day one. And we were in that spot in Jessup for 1.5 2 years. And then we had an opportunity to move to a bigger place because I wanted to automate so we could output more.
Yep.
And it went from like hometown feel. And we moved to this position. And at the very same time, a couple months later, I was approached by Graphics, which his name is Scott Adams, and they were up on Route 6. And he's like, look, the space next to us opened up. We're a sign shop, graphic design. You would be a perfect fit. We work hand in hand. I'm like, well, I do signs and banners too. Like, look, we'll work it out. So I moved up to Route 6 as well. But in the meantime, we already grew so much.
Right.
And then on Route 6, I'm like, I have 4 employees. No, I have 8 employees, and we're rocking and rolling.
Right.
Like we're 1 auto press, 2 auto press. I mean, it's this stuff coming in and it's all sales, but I was, trying to find my niche at the same time. I was taking everything for all these years. Like if you want a 1 shirt versus 36 versus 100, are you a school? Are you a business? I was trying to find where we fit in.
Right.
Because there is a lot of,
what does he have on there?
There's a lot of schools in the area.
He laughed. That's a tell.
There's a lot of schools in the area.
But how about the video of that guy on TV? Did you cut to that, Dan?
So
I think
creepy.
it went
Who
to the
fuck is
next,
that?
next story on the video. So
McCann School of Business closing campus in Dixon City. A school in our area is closing its doors for good. The McCann School of Business Technology is no longer accepting new.
There you go.
What's underneath that? What's it say? Scroll down. Statement from the school cites declining enrollment as the reason for the closure.
Because I left.
Is that what it is? They're like, fuck it. They're like, this guy, he left, it's over.
But no, but it's just it was a crazy roundabout of growth and figuring
Good
out
job, Sherlock Holmes.
where you fit
Thank
in.
you.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's the hardest part. Where do you fit in? Where's your business fit in? Everybody's doing it. And that was the biggest pushback I got before I went on my own. My friends are like, well, why do you think you could do it? There's like 5 other businesses in the area. It's like, bud, do you ever walk down the fucking bread aisle?
Uh-huh.
What do you see? Bread. 26 different fucking brands.
Uh-huh.
What's in the bag? Fucking bread. It's all bread.
Yeah.
What's the fucking difference here? You know what I mean? Like you're selling bread.
Branding is everything.
It's branding, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it came to, is it going to be a jelly printing, which nobody knew how to spell even growing up.
Right.
They don't remember 5 minutes after they walk out of a room.
Right.
So my wife and I went out to dinner and we're like, we got to rebrand this thing. And I married the Partridge Family. Her dad, her mom, Marilyn Kennedy and Jixie Piccone, like rock and rollers from back in the day. She was actually asked to take Janis Joplin's spot when she passed, like fucking hardcore music
like the
family.
real deal. Yeah.
My wife could pick any song from 50s up and she'll sing it. Like they just have it.
Huh.
They have that, like any instrument, give it to them. It's absolutely, I'm like, I can't even sing happy fucking birthday.
There's some people who just have like pitch.
They
like
just have it.
get it.
The family has it.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully my kids got that from them because they're just so, a 3 and a 5-year-old, and they're just like, remember a song after the second time they heard it. And I'm like, what did I eat for breakfast here?
Do you have a daughter?
I have a daughter, son, 5, daughter.
What's the daughter's
3.
name?
Sonetta.
Sonetta?
Sonetta. We
Did you
made that up.
Did you ever say Sonetta? How does Stairway to Heaven go?
She's a criminal.
At 3?
At 3. I am not putting college money away from this girl.
What'd she do?
It's fucking bail money for that one.
Was she like stealing jewelry and shit?
Like
a ferret?
Like you have a party, there's purses.
Yeah, ferrets steal your shiny shit.
Hey, Sonetta, what are you doing over there? She's going through all rummaging through everybody's purses, getting candy.
Yeah.
Sonny, what are you doing? Throws it up in the air, keeps some, goes and hides and eats it. So she's an artist of distraction and eat. I think.
Listen, I like you, but your daughter, who I've never met, is now my favorite member of your family.
She is my favorite.
Did you just call ferrets the limousine of rats?
I heard it earlier today, and I thought it was the funniest thing I ever heard.
It is good. But I mean, my daughter is a straight up criminal and limousine.
I heard it earlier. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So hold on. I have a question. I have a question because like you and I met maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
I think so. Yeah.
We were shooting clay birds or something,
and I sucked.
Oh, it was bad. We were all bad.
Bad. You guys.
You weren't there that time. So and you and I just kind of met.
Yeah.
And I think we became like friends on Facebook, and we maybe saw each other out in public once or twice after that, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, like, okay, this guy's a good guy. Because you know how sometimes when you meet people, it's like, they're nice, but I don't know. Like I've got friends.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like I don't know if I don't have a lot of free time to add more people into the portfolio.
Understandable.
So you and I became Facebook friends. It was like, oh, he's got a cool business. I'm in business. That's kind of cool. We related. We got along, and it was great. And then COVID happened, and you started doing some sort of program with your business to help out other small businesses. Tell us a little bit about that, because that was the moment for me. The light bulb came on, and like, I like this guy.
I got you. So it came to branding. That's where it came at. My wife and I go out. We got to change this. We got to change the name. We're out to dinner, and the song came on. Talk dirty to me.
Yeah.
And she goes, talk Shirty to me. Coined it. Boom. There it is. Talk Shirty to me. That's what we're going to go by.
Jason Derulo, by the way.
And we're going to do, Poison. And we're going to do WeTalkShirty.com.
Oh, yeah. Every rose has its thorn, Michael.
Mark, I hate to break it to you, but I think Mike is out.
And then
of the band.
Really? You don't know this Jason Derulo song?
Hey, but
I play it all the time at my wife in front of my kids.
Works both ways. It does. It works both ways. I get both parts. I get the younger kids and I get the older school, So,
Younger kids.
Brett Michaels.
Younger kids.
It's a fucking lie. They picked it because because it fucking rocks.
That's right. That's right. Damn right.
Dan, turn your camera off again.
Back to my show.
I'll speed right up to it though. We had major growth. The name took off. My social media space is very aggressive.
Yeah.
I put it all out there. I love just being a total complete jackass and just having fun because that's
your
what's
genuine
about.
self.
Yeah, I'm just being me. Like, people see from the outside, hey, this guy might be an asshole, or is he real?
Why do you think people would think that with your social media?
Because I deeply
I haven't perused your.
No, I'm
your
saying
a
in general.
t-shirt business with 54,000 followers.
Yeah,
will you post?
That's
this?
impressive.
Will you post and share this?
Yeah.
If you'd like to.
From what Micah just said, when COVID hit, I knew I had something. I built a following around what I did, and I had a reach. If you go to all the local other businesses, that's where when COVID hit, I had to pivot and start helping my community. And that's why I'm here. I didn't start a business just to make myself, wealthy. I want this fucking area to change because the business owners that are previous to me or current here or from the old school mentality basically hurt the area, in my opinion. They are damaging to our area. And in the businesses that they run, in my opinion, the bigger businesses, they're hurting the area more than trying to help the area.
Without being specific, how?
They'll donate money to your cause, but they're damaging our area environmentally, for example.
In what way?
Air quality under us. I mean, there's this.
Well, there is a lot of poisons in
a lot.
ground
I mean,
here.
we live between a landfill and a fucking power plant. Do I need to say more? So you have businesses in the area that are takers and you have ones that give back. And I started a business so that I would be able to help our area one day. And that when COVID hit, I was able to help. I first reached out to all of the local nursing homes and I said, hey, you need to sterilize. I got the ovens, would start running your bed sheets and shit through there. I'll help you sterilize. No cost.
Wait, what do you mean ovens? Like you have to put bed sheets in an oven?
Ovens are at a certain temperature.
Oh, okay.
It'll kill any virus,
Gotcha.
whatever. So I was picking it up, right? But it was meant to be because at the same time, one of the directors just got a fax that came through and it was a prototype for masks. So we had this prototype. We quickly switched gears and started making these prototypes. And at the same time, an industry status that I came up with was to help local businesses. So I came up with this idea. It was Here for Good campaign. It was something I didn't just start here. It was for every screen print shop or in my industry. Like I'm an industry leader. I was named, top 10 under 35. Like that's huge.
Congratulations,
I'm on
That's
boards
awesome.
and I love my industry. I want to see people succeed. But when this happened, there were shops closing and I'm like, look, you got to gain revenue, but why not help? So $10 was the shirt. That included the shipping and the shirt went to the customer and that business got the other $10. And
so just you were covering your costs in essence
and putting a couple bucks in our pocket,
Yeah,
so,
but at $10, I mean, how much you really put in your pocket?
Well, at the time I couldn't have any employees, so it was just me there operating.
So you were doing all this by yourself?
All of it,
you weren't allowed to have employees.
But because when they were shut
It was considered non-essential.
Yeah. I had a fight to get that back. But nonetheless, we came up with this idea that, hey, we're going to help businesses. You get a free web store. I had people working from home. They get a free web store. We generate revenue. And the idea was to sell a ton of shirts, cut them a check. And we ended up somewhere over $80,000 that we gave back.
Holy shit.
That we raised quickly. And the number rose after that. But we quickly did that. And we were able to pay electric bills for people. We were able to keep people in business. We were able to help them pay their employee. I mean, whatever it was. And they were all random businesses. And I didn't do it for anything but just to help. And now that COVID's over, it's like half of them are like, what did he do? But that's what it is. I didn't do it for any recognition. I'm not the typical guy to, hey, I'm going to donate a sign and put my name on it. I could give a shit. I just want to do good. Right. So I'm not looking for people who are like, hey, here's a huge award. Thank you for doing that. I just do it because.
Why can't you just be generous because you want to be generous?
I want to be fucking generous, right? So I'm not the guy, like I'll give you $1,000 check. I'm not going to go blow it up and be like, let me get a picture with you.
Dan, you heard him. He said he's giving us $1,000.
He looked at me in the eyes and just said he was going to give us $1,000. Ad rate is set.
Well, I guess I'm on the hook, but
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Like you don't have to be that.
Well,
Like,
for like my wife and I, we say it with Lavish, like it does us no good if we're the only business downtown. You know, people ask us all the time, who's your competition? Obviously, you know, you can look at what salons are within a 5-mile radius of Lavish and know.
But walk down the bread aisle.
But walk down the bread aisle. That's the thing. It's like, that's a brilliant analogy, by the way. I'm going to use that all the time.
Do it.
But like, it does us no good. The more
Plagiarism.
people coming downtown to Scranton, to Lackawanna County and spending money, the better. The more, the merrier.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help me at all. During COVID, a salon literally 50 feet from our front door shut down. And it's like, first thing I saw it on social media, first thing I did was make a phone call, like, how do we help you stay open? And they were like, well, what are you trying to pull here? I'm
Yeah,
like,
why do people seem like
I
there's
know,
always
right?
like
You get the goosebumps.
I'm not
like,
trying
what
to-
the fuck?
I'm not
just
trying to
trying to help you
pull
here,
anything
man.
because if you close, the story is salons in Scranton aren't making it. And that makes me look bad. That makes everybody look bad.
Mhm.
We need everybody to succeed. We need everybody at the end of all of this to still be crushing.
You need to band together as
Yeah.
small businesses. I mean, whether you're small, big, mom, pop, whatever
Mhm.
it is, when shit hits the fan, you know, I don't
Yeah.
look at my other print shops as competition. You're my colleagues. You may hate me. I don't
Right.
hate you. You
Right.
need white ink. I'll run it down to your fucking shop. Like,
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
I help shops all over the U.S. I travel. I make them stronger. I help them survive.
Mhm.
I actually kept 15 shops from closing because what happened was when COVID hit and everybody's on social media. Now what? Everybody's sitting home on their ass,
Uh-huh.
on their phones, wondering what the fuck is going on.
Mhm.
watching Tiger King.
Yeah. Well, I watched that too, but I had a following and that's
Yeah.
what I built.
Yeah.
And I was not fortunate. I knew that it would pay off one day. When I made a post, it reached, 9,000 people.
Yeah.
And then that spread out and then it went and it went and it went.
Yep.
So when businesses came on in our area and they made a post, if you have 100 followers, half of them are your family, who the fuck do you think that's going to?
Right.
Mhm.
So I knew I had this not competitive edge, but I knew I'd be able to help people from what I built.
At least your reach is going to be better.
So I used my reach to my advantage so I could help everybody in the area.
Yeah.
And now I use it to my benefit to get more business, but we had
Yeah.
viral videos go, people following us all over the US. My Instagram page is more for my consulting business. I show them the inside scenes of what we do and how we operate. And I gain customers that way too. Shops that just can't handle volume, I take it.
So who does your social? You?
I do it all.
How exhausting does that eventually become?
I love it.
You really do?
Yeah, I really do.
Do you engage with people?
I
do. You post it and
I'm the
ghost
guy,
it?
if you message me, I'm the guy messaging you back.
What if I say
90%
something
of the time.
shitty? Are you going to respond?
Yeah, of course. You have to know how to take it both ways.
So there's those people who say, like, as a business, you should not engage with those people. The customer's always right.
I'm like, no, tackle it head on, because if you don't, or just give some generic bullshit, like, be real. Just fucking, if you did something wrong, say you did something wrong. Don't be like, hey, but you did this. Like, just fucking say you fucked up.
This is brilliant. I'm literally on your Instagram right now, and like, this is great. Like,
Yeah, no,
Make
there's an actual patent for that.
Make it
Yeah.
fun.
like,
Yeah.
It does not have to be always about your business. Make it
Can't see
fun.
it.
Let people
Yeah,
follow
great.
you for fun. Like, if you post stuff like that, that's fun. You get a ton of engagement, and then you follow it up with an ad or
Brilliant.
something you're doing in your shop, right?
great
And
social
what's
media.
trending? Like, jump right
Was this
on it.
Antonio Brown? Is that who that was?
Yeah, yeah.
Remember when he, like, in the middle of football game,
Took his
took
shirt
off his
off
jersey and was
and
like,
quit.
I quit.
And he quit?
Yeah. I'm like, fuck it. I'll put shirt up there. Like,
It's
like,
amazing.
what? But I mean, being unique, being funny, being trendy, it catches the waves and it's fun. But people want content that's real, fun to follow. If it's fake and ungenuine, like, people just don't want to follow that shit.
Yeah.
Right. So,
If it's not sincere.
I look a lot into it. Videos are going to be taking over big time. I mean, there's not going to be any more
Yeah.
text or stagnant photos. They want video engagement. So it's all learning and growing with it, but being creative enough to make stuff fun for people to follow. Like, they don't want boring shit.
So
But actually, that probably wouldn't be a bad page. Just boring, shit.
Elon Musk started a company about it. Sells flamethrowers.
I have
The
a
boring
flamethrower.
Mike has a flamethrower too.
Did you get the green one?
Yeah.
Where'd you get yours?
Roll call.
Yeah. it's
So
right
did he.
on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As soon
yeah.
as they hit, I'm like, I'll be right
Yeah.
back.
I need one of those.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm like, wait till the neighbors see me light my fucking paper on fire.
So how
Clear
does
snow with it.
so do people like come in to the shop or anything and because of your social?
Oh yeah.
So like I didn't know if I was going to come here, but I saw something that was pretty
Yeah.
goddamn funny and I
Yeah.
came in.
I have people stop by and they're like, Pizza Ron, or, you know, it's Pizza Friday and people come in and I'm like, yeah, if pizza's free, just come in. If you want to watch a show, go ahead. You know, but again, I did Pizza Ron. Pizza Ron's kind of on hold. You know, I am so busy with the new model. COVID really changed my business up, and we are riding a wave that I am not fucking stopping. Right. So with Pizza Ron, I kind of did that again because of COVID, and pizza shops, again, not having a huge following. How are they getting their name out there? Guess what? I'm going to show the fuck up and I'm going to review your pizza. Not, you know, Barstool does an amazing job. I'm not trying to be like him. I'm trying to help the businesses in my fucking area.
Right.
Because that's what I grew up on. That's what I grew up on. And the ones that I did review are the ones that I grew up on. And I didn't want to see them die because they couldn't have anybody indoors. They were curbside pickup for so long. And I was able to go in, do this, you know, silly review, be my spontaneous, spunky, stupid, fucking annoying self, put the word out there. And there's nothing better than getting a call and being like, we sold out by 6 o'clock and I'm going home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that some of that shit was crazy though? Like that they couldn't let people.
I think the whole thing was bizarre.
Yeah. From start to finish. From start to
you
now.
You have now created a fear in the American society that government could tell you whatever the fuck to do.
And that's not supposed to happen here.
And you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Did that blow your mind that people were so willing to do that?
And I said, I'm not fucking listening. Because my last government order was 2007 when I was discharged from the military. Yeah, that was my last order.
So did you, so from the start, like, but you're not one of these people who's, you know, trying to, you know, there's certain groups that are all these, you're just like, nope, I'm not going to advocate for anything. I just don't think it's, I just think it's nuts.
Thing. That's all.
Yeah.
Did anybody come after you?
About what?
Well, like people were telling on other people for doing shit.
No, we became essential. I mean, I print all the uniforms and stuff for state troopers and ambulances. I mean, doctors' offices. I mean, it was, you just had to file the paperwork. That's all.
Man.
That's all it was.
I just thought that was nuts that they were
like, it was all crazy, but I mean, you have to think about it. Nobody knew what to expect, but this was all new. But you know, from looking in from
but we all knew about 3-4 weeks into it. Like, this is not what the way it was sold was a zombie apocalypse. And about 3-4 weeks in, you're like, as long as you're under like 80, you should be fine.
Right. But I mean, it's scary. It was the first thing we ever encountered.
Right. I watched Contagion one year, so I was like, okay, this. But
I'm just saying, like, the virus, we didn't know it was an unknown thing. Now you look back and it's like, oh, this is what the fuck just happened. But I guess we're prepared for the future if it ever happens again.
So here's a question.
But we also showed everybody in the world how weak we could be.
That's the problem.
Isn't it crazy?
But you know, again, like SBA stepped in, who was a dying government agency who then funded PPP, all the businesses, including myself.
Yeah, they did a great job.
And they did a great job, but now they're alive again because there's just so much funding that went through them. And they actually, of all the businesses in the state of PA, I was somehow contacted and they did a walkthrough. I had all the top guys in the SBA come to my shop, sit down and go over it. You know, what can we do to help businesses?
Well, now the other thing too is like,
it's cool.
They're going to stay open to now help other young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs now who want to get.
I really hope. I mean, I'm now like, they came into my shop and asked, hey, how could people get through this? Like, who the fuck am I? I print t-shirts. That's all I do. Right.
Okay. Here's the thing. So you think that about you, right? So you're like, who the fuck am I? Right.
Yeah.
Did it ever bother you that they came to who the fuck are you? They're supposed to be the ones that know what to do.
Well,
you know what I mean?
They're suits.
No, do you think at the end of the day, it's just like, oh,
well, they're the epitome of those that can't teach.
You know, I'm sitting there and the one guy was a director of the whatever tri-state. And he's like, well, what am I supposed to tell the guy who runs a dry cleaning service in Brooklyn?
Open up. That's different here.
It's called pivot and figure it the fuck out. So, you know, and I gave it to him raw. I'm like, look, you go to that guy and you tell him to figure it the fuck out. Like, if you shut your doors, nothing's going to happen. If you sit down and jot down ideas, make it happen. Make a game plan. You got a goal set. You got to go out. You got to get it, or you just sit back and take it.
So did you? There was two options where people just have to like submit and take it, and we're like, I just got to get through this. And then there are the ones who just adapted and became stronger as a business.
Right.
So why is it that more people didn't become stronger? Do you think?
Not all people are competitors.
Do you think it's just that competitive spirit?
I mean, we could really think about businesses that go into business and next thing you know, they just go out of business. You know, they're afraid of competition. They're afraid of what it's a different breed just to jump all in. Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, how do you guys define competition? Like, is it?
It's not competition.
It's friendly.
It's not competition between another salon, for example. It's competition from everybody around you. If you don't have the right people around you and the right motivation and the right mindset and the right culture that you want to follow, you're putting yourself up for failure.
How much can a downer employee fuck up your vibe?
It could destroy everything.
Everything.
Just like an
shop
Eeyore
culture.
employee.
Like,
Yeah.
every morning we have a meeting in my shop, right? So through COVID, I was able to purchase a building too, a brand new built a whole new facility, and really went all in. And it's like the biggest accomplishment I own commercial real estate and everything inside. I mean, it's huge, and I employ 22 people right now, and
God.
we're looking to double. Like, it's huge, right? So every morning, 8:00, team meeting for production, 10:00, art team. And it's all about shop culture. It's all about attitude. You know, we all have shit going on.
Did you say shop culture?
Shop culture.
What's that?
Just the vibe of the shop. Like, if you have an employee,
I'm not trying to be an idiot. I never worked in a shop.
No, it's funny listening to you because
culture.
like everything from like number of employees, the way you talk about business, just your mindset and approach to business, even down to like timelines and years. It's exactly what happened with myself, my wife, and Lavish. It's like you started your business in 2014. We bought Lavish in 2014. You have 22 employees. I have 26 employees. We talk about culture nonstop.
it's culture.
Culture is everything. Like, if you don't have culture, you don't have a business.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And I'm watching these two, and they're like, "Did we just become best friends?"
Well, no, but like it's true.
It's real sweet.
Like
Yeah.
you said, we met and you instantly disconnect because we have so much in common because we live the daily struggles that most people will never see.
And like what you were just saying, like you asked, like, culture, competitive, whatever. Like, for me, it goes back to the day that we bought Lavish. I was working in radio at the time, and the plan was for Lauren to continue to run Lavish like she'd kind of been doing for the previous owners. I would kind of jump in as needed, and it would be a slow transition for me. I had the steady income, I had the benefits, very similar setup. The day that we bought it, we went in 10:00 with the bank, with the lawyers, everybody, boom, signed the paperwork. And then that was just it. It was like, all right, I got to go back to work. And that was it.
So nothing really changed.
I walked out the door. I got in my car and I sat there for 20 minutes. Didn't say a word. Didn't do anything. Just sat there. Drove straight back to work. Resigned immediately. I'm all in. Like, when you talk about that competitive, like, you're either all in or you're not.
Is there a fear there? Like, in that moment, like those 20 minutes is like, holy shit, this is real.
I didn't have a choice. That's just how I'm wired. It's like, I didn't have a choice. I had to quit. I had to go all in.
So do you find that sometimes, like you said, like I'm just like whoever, like sometimes I'm also an idiot who needs motivation too. But for people listening, like, there are ways for them to be motivated that maybe they never thought about.
Well, I mean,
so it's like you set like a goal and you're like, I'm not going to fucking fail at this.
I was sitting
like,
there,
no choice.
And I didn't believe, I didn't have people around me who believed in me. I didn't believe in myself, and I didn't have a push. I was just institutional. Like, again, I wish they would train people how to work for them fucking selves, how to survive for your own. My bet is my best thing is get into the trades. Like, that's where it's at right now. But get into the trades. I mean, really,
The watch is talking to us.
Opportunity is out there. You just have to know how to grab it, right?
Yeah.
But they're sitting there, the fear.
I think it's fear, man. I think it's a lot of fear.
I mean, again, it's an unstable thing. At any time, we could lose everything we possibly have. I mean, that's the fear of it. But once that's not true. No, it's not there.
Fear was unreasonable.
The reality that I've created is because of me. Everything that we have done, my wife and I have worked very hard to get to where we're at. It wasn't because, dad gave me this or mom gave me that to start. We did this from nothing. This came from nothing. What do I have to lose now?
Well, I mean, you go back to that old, like we were saying before, like school analogy. You're put in a row and you're taught to do this. You cannot get an F. You cannot get a failure. You have to get a passing grade. This will determine where you're going to go in life, like what kind of life you're going to have based on what grades. It's the same in business. Like me, I'm not afraid of failure. Like I'm just not.
You know how many times I fuck shit up?
Yeah, because
I like how you phrased it that way.
But like that's the thing. But like if you never fail, then that means you're not working hard enough, trying hard enough, thinking outside the box enough. If you fail, okay, good. I found that limit. Now I know where to stay.
Is it a lot of times? A lot of the times, do you think it's because people are like, once I fail, I fail. I am a failure.
Well, that's like people don't like to fail. They don't like to hear no. They don't know how to handle rejection. They don't know how to do any of that. That's stuff that you have to like learn to deal with. You have to have thick skin. You have to be able to take it. Be the neglect. I mean, we are the bottom, not the bottom, but the way people look at business owners is like fucking black sheep over there.
You think so?
Look at that fucking guy over there. Yeah. What do you mean?
I just don't like. So from your perspective, why
it's like
do people look down on business owners?
I really don't know how to answer that, but I know as being on the other side, I used to like immediately people.
So it's not like they're saying you're a piece of shit, but you get like an energy.
Immediately, the people that I used to hang out with, if they saw somebody that was in business, yeah, but I heard he did this. Yeah, I heard he did that, or I heard this happen, or I heard this was going on, or I heard the family did this, or it's like, what the fuck are you going right to the negative for? How do you fucking know? Do you know this person?
I think it's fear and envy. I think they're afraid of what you can do, or they're jealous of what you're going to do.
Could you think like, okay, Mike, you want an extra $10,000? What do you do?
I gotta go figure out a way to turn 5,000 into 10,000.
Dan, I suck my cheeks in.
But
I think he just offered us $10,000.
Right. Yeah. You could go and get that. When I worked for the corporate America, could I get a $5,000 range?
Yeah.
Maybe 1.5% if you're lucky.
Well, that was actually what pushed me into wanting to own a business. Was I went and signed about, well, I won't get into specifics, but millions of dollars worth of contracts, and I went and asked for a raise. I didn't get a bonus from it. I went and asked for a raise based on this, and they gave me a 5% raise, which bumped me in the next tax bracket. I made less. I was like, well, this is stupid.
How does this happen in America? How does this happen?
Like, this is just dumb. So within weeks and months, it was like, okay, I got to find the thing. Like, what is the thing that I'm going to do? I can't keep doing this. I got to find whatever it is. I'm going to go work for myself. And right around the time the boys wanted to sell Lavish, we bought it. And just kind of like your story, like the day we bought it, 4 employees, my wife at the front desk, and good little business, 3,000 square feet, nice little facility. We're now in 10,000 square feet with 26, 28 employees. I can't remember.
It's amazing. Right?
But it's just because you just keep risking more and doing more and keep betting on yourself. Yeah. Like you just got to keep doubling down.
You just keep doing, like, I'm at the point where my company is right now. I mean, it's tour season. The one company
I rep, bands and shit.
Oh my God. Like if you, the tour list, Deftones, Weezer, Garbage, Alanis Morissette. I mean, fucking huge names that I never even.
It's like our high school. It's like high school.
Crazy. The shit that comes through my doors now because I made it happen.
Right.
I found these little niches that I wanted to tap into. And I'm at the point in my company where I'm sitting there at the fence and the gate is ready to open. It's a whole new business from COVID because when COVID hit, I was more local schools area related. When everything shut down, so did all my, like 30% of my business disappeared like that because school isn't in, events are canceled.
Right.
So what do you do? And then when things started to return, it wasn't like, hey Ron, how you doing over there? You doing okay? Like, could I help you? Nobody checked in on me. Right. I didn't take it into, hey, what do you give a shit? You only need me when you need whatever. So I found new clients, ones that are all over the country.
Yeah.
And it's just really working. I don't really see anybody. It's all done through email. It's fucking amazing. Right? Like, it's amazing. There's no like, I'm going to leave you a bad review because you can't get me one medium shirt by Sunday. It's like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
it's okay. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I get it. I'm in business too.
Like, I don't do one shirt. I told you that.
Right.
Like, I fucking told you I don't do one shirt. Like, I'm not lying, but he wouldn't do one shirt because I told you I don't, so these new clients are awesome. They're a lot of fun, a lot of cutthroat. But, I'm at the point where you're standing at the fence and I'm looking over and I'm a climber. Like, I just keep climbing. And I'm at the point like, I could just ride this son of a bitch out for like 20 years and not change a fucking thing. But I'm not that guy. So now I'm at the point like, does my company deserve something better now? Because there is all this opportunity. Do I want to go that extent again? It's kind of like.
But what does that mean? So what does that mean to you? What do you think that means to you?
That's the growth thing. Like right now, my income and the way things are operating.
What would that look like?
And my work life and family life are pretty much in line. To double it again. Yeah. Am I ready for that? But I also don't want to be sitting there at the fence going, should I have done that?
Well, we always say, like, it sounds like your business is very similar. Ours is as well. You're either going up or you're going down. You never stay the same. Like, you just don't. Like, you're either growing or you are shrinking.
So is that like bigger orders, and what does that mean?
So I don't look at a business as like bigger orders. It's the better orders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like say you had a school come in for 200 field day shirts,
Mhm.
but they want them for $4 because the guy next door did them for $4. Okay, just go to that guy. I'm not at a race to the bottom.
Right.
Here's my prices. I'm not going to move them. And there's a lot of people out there who pay 4 times that.
So by better,
because it's what you're getting. So I use the best of everything.
So
right?
So by better, you mean you're not having to.
So better quality clients, meaning easier to work with. They're not hard like
right.
Here.
Not as much of a hassle
Right.
because they understand the
so
business.
the workflow from
they don't have time to haggle you.
From
they have
having
a price.
15 steps and bringing it down to 5 steps. I'm able to take 2 more customers because I can fit in.
What he's saying is now he's charging college kids $30 a t-shirt to throw a party in a basement. My son will be calling you next year.
But no, it's just that you find a better quality, like 80-20 rule, right?
Yeah.
So you have 80% of your business that is just taking you time, keeping you busy, whatnot. And there's the actual 20% that's profitable.
Right.
So you take that 20% and you try to duplicate or replicate or make that 20% become more of that 80%. So you put that 20% at the top and you find like-minded people that are in the same business or the same growth patterns, and you start moving the pawns around to get your numbers up. Then all of a sudden that 20% who is super profitable that you really wanted to work for sucks ass. And now you're going to find that other 20% that now became your 20. And it's a vicious cycle of awesome shit. And it filtered itself through to now I'm working with companies that represent huge brands with endless opportunities, because these companies aren't going anywhere. I don't have to focus on sales. I don't have to focus on, so much local, grassroots. I already did that, but I'm able to say, you need 12 duffel bags. Just go down to the guy in the corner in Greenridge.
Yeah.
And let him fucking do it. Cause I'm able to turn shit away.
Is there a freedom there?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh my God. Because I
had to say no
when I had to like really take everything and do it by all means, because you don't know any better. You just learn this through business to better your clientele. You own a restaurant. What are you serving? Who are the people you want to attract? What kind of culture do you want in your restaurant?
It is true that you use the restaurant analogy, because you look at, if you go to a restaurant, you can tell about the quality and the professionalism and the service and the whole 9 yards based on how small the menu is. The smaller the menu, the better the restaurant.
That means because they've almost perfected those foods, and
they don't have to offer.
They don't have. I'm there for the vibe. I'm there for the people, the atmosphere.
You go to AV,
all the variables.
Yeah,
I'm there
AV
for an
downtown
experience.
has like 5 entrees. You go to some other restaurants and it's like
a book.
40
It's a
different
book.
things. Yeah,
and not to say they're bad. It's just
no. But when you're that good, here's your choice.
So you go to AV. They're not looking to turn tables. They're there for you to spend the evening.
Yeah,
right.
It's an all around experience.
You go to the one with the 40-page book. It's in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah,
it's flip it 4 or 5
Turn
times, and they're making good money. Don't get me wrong. It's just 2 different business models, right? So again, it's just your culture, what you want to do, how you want to run your business, and eventually you get to say who you want to work with. Yeah. Like if you're a paper print shop, for example, which I know very little about. You want to work.
We know
with
a Greek guy that knows a lot about it.
So, but you grow enough to say, hey, this is what really works for my company.
Yeah.
And then you have to learn to say no and be okay with that.
So if you could give advice to anyone in America right now about business, probably more towards the younger people, what advice would you give?
Let's be really specific, okay? My son is 18. He's in his senior year of high school, really good at math, going to go off to school next year. What would you tell him about business if he wanted to get into business? What would you tell him?
Well, what's his plans next year? What, like college for what?
College.
He's an 18-year-old in 2022. I don't think anybody fucking knows what they're doing.
Like, does he know?
Accounting?
He doesn't know yet, but probably accounting.
Okay.
Boring.
He's an accountant.
Well, no, I'm just saying, but there's, again, you want to work for like, what's your goal? Like, do you want to make it a career? Do you want to open up to me, if I was really good at math and I wanted to go for accounting, I would open up my own firm as fast as I can and start getting in clients as I can, but I would start networking as fast as I could. And I would, in college, take what I know, learn how to do tax returns, right? And just start filing tax returns. It's $100 for just an average W-4 employee or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So while he's in college, he could have a little racket. I mean, my wife has her cosmetology license. She went to Kutztown. She's from Northeastern Pennsylvania, went to cosmetology school first and cut hair all through college so that she could live.
Yep.
Right. So she cut hair, went to school, was the valedictorian of her class, and spoke at the commencement 4.0 all the way through. What's wrong with the trade? What's wrong with having a side hustle? What's wrong with working? You know, so to anybody who's coming out of high school, realize you go to college and every June, for example, Penn State, how many kids do you think they pump out every June?
I don't know.
That's one fucking university. What are we talking?
Was it 100,000 maybe?
At Penn
50,000?
State?
How many?
If I had to guess, I'd
I
say
mean, could
probably
you Google
20.
that? Like, what's the average graduation size class at Penn State University, main campus? But then you think of this. So you're one of that
Come
number.
on, Jamie.
One of that number times all of the college and universities across the United States going into
All those fields that
all the
them
fields
offer.
across the United States. I mean, it's a huge job pool, right?
Yeah.
Create your own fucking opportunity. Make your own opportunity. And that's where I'm an advocate. If there isn't an opportunity, create the opportunity. If it doesn't exist, make it exist.
Do you have that number?
Almost there.
I mean, doesn't that make sense? Like, say,
No. So that's what I want people to hear. Where it's like,
yeah, I
it's-
mean, I was at a wedding local, and it was a beautiful wedding, and the water main busted. So what do? Send everybody home? No.
you just don't take shits.
They made the best fucking macaroni and cheese I have ever had in my life.
Oh, really?
They did whatever they could to make sure that this wedding was perfect, even though they didn't have water. So you take an opportunity. They could easily said go home, but they didn't. They rose.
And you know what happened? That probably became one of the most memorable weddings you'll ever
so
go
I
to.
just brought it up, right? So,
Yeah,
and I was at some really badass weddings, right? But that one sticks to my
I
mind.
love a
because
good
I'm like,
wedding.
you know, like what the hell?
Fuck you, Dan.
But if you, that's probably an inside thing I don't know about.
I forgot to invite him to my wedding.
He just forgot.
I just forgot.
It
I
shit
love him to
happens.
death,
Shit
and I
happens,
just,
you know,
I just assumed he would be there.
He gets it.
you know,
That's right. Who
No,
fucking
you're
cares?
right,
It
though,
doesn't
man.
matter.
Like,
you have to create an opportunity, guys. I mean, that's why. I mean, if you're in anything you do, it doesn't even have. You don't have to be in business. I mean, why have a shitty attitude at everything you go towards? Why do you want to have a shitty attitude? If you wake up with a shitty attitude, what do you think happens for the rest of the day? You're gonna have a shitty fucking day.
Maybe the institution tells you that.
The biggest thing it does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the mindset that you have. But the thing is that
Is it the numbers?
yeah, 15,000. Oh, undergrad 73.
look at that number.
Their total enrollment
Total
is
90.
88.
That's enrollments. That's just enrollment.
Degrees awarded 21,928.
Wow.
73,000. That's just at Penn State.
Just
Yeah.
think about that. That's not even including their satellite campuses, right? Like, and then you go to all the universities, right? So
Man,
what I'm saying
that's
is,
how much is that per fucking kid?
could you imagine the money? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's a huge gamut.
People don't realize that just the massive opportunity that's out there. Think about it this way, okay? Elon Musk is buying Twitter. What is Twitter?
Social media platform.
It's just a website,
That's it.
essentially. It's an app.
It just does shit.
You can create that.
But for some
And then
reason,
somebody
Twitter
paid $44 billion.
I really think he just did that to shut down the kid that tracks his fucking jet.
I think he did it purely out of spite.
Just out of spite.
I
You
hear
know, it's like that's the
What
epitome
did
of
he
like
offer
screw
him?
you money.
He's like,
Yeah.
I'll give you $1,000 to stop it. And he's like, I want 10. No, I'll buy fucking Twitter and shut
Yeah,
it down.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding, but technology is going to win this, guys.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that's the world that we live in, but you have
Yeah.
to create those opportunities. And there's, you know, we're in a cool world right now where old school is still available to the new school. So
Mhm.
if you can mix the two together, you're going to be successful. Like I know what a fax machine is and I know algorithm. Like you have to well verse yourself and educate. And that's another secret. Just continuously
learn shit.
learn shit. It doesn't matter what it is. I have a guy that works for me. He's retired now, 4 years. He still shows up every other day. Right.
Did nobody
He is now my best friend.
Mhm.
He's an older gentleman. Dude is badass. He has taught me so much.
Do you want to give him a shout out?
So much. Yeah. His name's Don. You always see him with me. He's this old, miserable, fucking old guy that I love. He bitches and moans about everything, but the dude is MacGyver.
Yeah.
And it's whatever. Hey, Don, I have to do that. Oh, I have a tool like that.
Yeah.
Like he has everything. But I've learned so much just by hanging out with people that aren't me. sometimes,
Yeah.
right? So don't be afraid to be weird. Like,
I don't think
go learn something and continuously learn it. And you're in a trade that trends happen, and you have to master.
Pay
it,
attention.
you know,
Stay on top of where it's going.
and that's it. And that's just life in general. Like you just stay where you're at, or you want to go somewhere. You know, but being in business, and back to that, we set our goals, we go and we get them. We want this, we go and get it. There's nobody telling. Let me tell my boss that I want to. There's nobody. There's really no. But there's also an issue with that too, because who the fuck do I answer to now? You know, like that's tough. Like
it's weird. I think it's weird for people to not have to answer to someone. They don't. A lot of people don't know how to do. It was so weird because if I was at a meeting, for example, where I was just a volunteer, I would sit in the group of people and just listen to the people sitting behind the table. And now all of a sudden it's like, who's in charge? Who gives a fuck? I'm gonna start talking here. Like that's it. Because what am I gonna lose? I'm not worried about somebody telling my boss what I did. Like, who gives a shit? You know, so it gives you an opportunity to really be you. I mean, that's ultimately why I love it, because I don't need a fucking filter. I don't need to be quiet. Have you found people receptive to that? Like you will stab people in the heart before you stab them in the back. That I seem to get that from you. Is that a fair vibe?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a backstabber at all. Never would be. I'm not a people I want people to do good. And I will tell you exactly how I feel. I'm not here to make you feel good. If you're doing something wrong, I'm going to fucking tell you you're doing something wrong. Whereas another person be like, it's okay. We'll get through this. I'm like, look, straighten the fuck up. Don't do this again. This is what you shouldn't like. Why would you sweep it under the carpet? Stop it. Just fucking tell them what they did wrong and make them learn from it.
No animosity afterwards.
I mean, I had a friend who was a police officer. Like, this dude was of the law, and this kid was badass, right? And you know the story. Gets hurt, gets the painkillers. Next thing you know, like downward spiral. The dude's literally fucking breaking his own teeth so he could get pain medication. But he blames everybody for everything that has happened. Literally saw him at a chiropractor's office, and I said, and he's like, yeah, I just got my CDL license, but you know, I can't sit down too long because I gotta pee. I'm like, but shut the fuck up already. I'm like, shut the fuck up. And now this is in a room of 20 people in a waiting room. I'm like, just shut the fuck up. I'm like, for the last 5 fucking years, you have done nothing but fucking take from your family and not man the fuck up and blame everybody around you instead of taking responsibility. It's like, no one ever told me that before. I'm like, well, you better fucking listen. And I just rolled it out. And he texts me every day. He's like, thank you. And he literally turned his life around.
So it sounds mean.
It sounds mean, but I mean it well.
So my point is like all the people who are like, let's sweep it under the rug or let's not be cruel.
If somebody's driving towards a cliff, you're not going to be like, hey, you're going to scream at them like you're about to die.
Yeah.
That's the kind thing to do.
I think happens.
Where in your shop are the safe spaces? Because you sound like somebody who'd have a lot of those at his business.
Safe in what
I'm just joking.
Like a nice cry box.
There's an employee.
Like a nice cry box.
You know, like I had an employee, and I'll literally photocopy my hand and I'll write, here's a pat on the back. And I'll leave it at your desk.
Right.
And then I'll put 3 fingers out and be like, almost. Like, you know, but no, it's my employees are different though. I can't treat them that way or tell them.
You can slightly different way,
constructively tell them, because that's
here's an opportunity for.
I can't lose my shit there.
Right.
I can't. Right. I did. And that's the worst thing you could do.
Right.
It's like sticking your finger in a fan. Your finger hurts and the fan doesn't work. So why would you do that? Right.
Yeah.
So I talk to them in different ways. And that's something you have to figure out with your culture. Like, hey, how do I approach this person? Because everybody has different mentalities. Like, I can't talk to you one way I talk to her. And I can't talk to her like I do to her. Like, you have to know the people. You have to understand how they tick.
So is that part of it where it's like you can't have it? I don't expect you to be like this. I have to come to your level or wherever you're at so that I can be a good manager or a good boss.
I mean, you have to learn.
Instead of being like, this is the behavior I expect.
There was a learning process with that because I was having a turnover for a while, and it was me. It was because I didn't have anything in place. I didn't have an employee handbook. I had no expectations of them. They would come in, no guidance. We're just like, hey, we're going to get the job done. We're throwing Band-Aids on shit. We're getting it done. And then I'm like, fuck, like I'm running a real company here.
Yeah.
I got to get shit in order. So here comes the employee handbook. This is everything you need to know about the company. Then I got into standard operating procedures. This is how we do this. So the person who's new, you know how many people, where the fuck's the bathroom 3 hours later? Like, holy shit. I never even showed them, you know, like this simple shit like that. I had employees literally, I tell them like, hey, or a manager would say, you didn't fold the shirts right. Like, what's wrong? Like, how the fuck do you expect them to know? It's their first day. They walk right out.
Yeah.
Because they take it personal. Like, you know, who wants to be talked that way?
Nobody does.
So it's a whole new culture. Like, hey, you're going to tag on with this person. They've been here this long. They're going to show you the ropes and we're going to figure out where you fit in. And that's where you're going to work.
So once you did,
I let my team hire.
But when you did the practice of procedures and protocols and all that stuff, like, did you see that turnover change?
Oh, now we're like rock solid, which is great, you know, because they know what the expectations are. They know that they could grow. They know where they could train. They know where they fit in. They know that there is peace and, you know, there's crazy times too, but it's not a poisonous workspace. It's a positive workspace. It's outgoing. Everybody's chipper. Everybody's a team. Everybody jumps in. Nobody wants to see each other drown. It's not like, hey, do you know where that job is? I don't know. XYZ knows. It's like,
yeah,
it's in production. Like everything is very detailed.
Yeah, streamlined and legit.
You just learn that over time of how to run a ship, you know, or wheel that just keeps spinning. Like, hey, how do you go here to get to there? You know, you see people waste time. How could I turn that around? I mean, it's just little things so you're working on the business. You're better improving it. You're better educating, coming up with ideas. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you just, you know, revisit it, but shop culture comes to the winner again. And the way you treat people is key.
We found that for us, one of the big things is ownership. When they feel like they are more than just an employee, like that changes everything. Okay, you know what? Social media, you own social media. Orders, you own orders. Sales training, you own sales training. And now you own it, and we're going to pay you for it. It's your job. Like this is your bonus or your whatever, and this is what you get. If I go into work every day and all I have to do is make sure that the paychecks are signed, I'm doing great. As long as I don't have, I mean, I do jump in and do things, but if I've created a world in which I don't have to touch anything, you're golden. You got good culture, you got good systems.
I jump in if I have to.
But sometimes owners are in the way.
And that's why I was saying stick a finger in the fan. I'm the guy in the back. All of a sudden I'm looking around like, why aren't they fucking following what I told them? And then the beast is starting to grow inside me. And then I'm I'm going to fucking crush everything in this room. Holy fuck is going on here? Like, why are you using 3 inches extra fucking tape? It's $7 a roll. My head starts going. My head just starts going. I'm like, I'm fucking leaving here. I got to go. I got to go. You know, like stupid shit like that because you're the owner. You have the way of doing things. So you had to learn over time how to, you know, stop. Like I had a half a day to one day. I came in the shop. I'm like, okay, if you want me to print, if you want me to fucking get on the press, I want this on the press, this. Like I gave him a list. I get there, all fucking wrong. Took the screen, threw it across the shop like a fucking Frisbee. And everybody stopped and looked at me. I'm like, I need to go.
Just snapped
my shop.
Yeah.
By throwing that screen. The culture of everybody is now, who is this maniac? Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh my God. So I had to pull I'm sorry, you know, but I had to stop it. I owned up to it.
Yep. Fine.
Never happen again. But I mean, that's the thing with people. You just don't realize they're under the same pressure. They're working for you. When I'm on press with them, I'm not your boss. I'm filling in for the person that used to stand next to you. You tell me what the fuck to do. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm the guy helping you here, not your boss right now. Tell me what to do. And they're like, I'm not used to that. I'm like, well, start learning.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'm like, what did I just say to them? Start learning. I'm going to help you get to this point. So to that amount, my employees, we created a system that I'm working on now. You want to grow in the company. I'm all about bench training. So people knowing multiple things in the shop, right? So it's kind of cool. All their names are on a list. We're breaking up the shop into different departments. If they learn the different machines in different departments or procedures, they get a star and they get a pay raise. And they could potentially earn up to a certain dollar amount faster than just waiting for their yearly or whatever. So to a motivated individual who wants to get up to like $35
a more
really,
useful,
really quick.
Yeah.
And the reason why, as a business owner, this is to my strategy, XYZ calls off. Well, now I have 4 fucking people that know how to do that job. And I can move this person here and that person here. Whereas 4 years ago, one dog, that's it. One trick. That's it.
And right now, you guys are growing and you're hiring right now, right?
Big time.
Are you
Big
hiring?
time are we hire? Oh, big time.
Okay.
Dan, do you want to show the website?
Yeah, we're in a massive hiring. We have to amp up. Like we have to ramp up. And it's cool to go in every morning, have your 8 o'clock and tell your team you are at the ground again. Like you are into a brand new company and you are the foundation. And everybody who comes after isn't going to benefit like you.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what is more exciting than that?
Yeah.
Telling them like, hey, we have an opportunity to quadruple our business and you are a part of this. Like you'll have people working under you in a couple of years.
That's
So
awesome, man.
Dan, is there like a employment opportunity part of your website or no?
It's on Facebook.
On the Book of the Face?
On the and if you go to if you drive by our location in Dixon City,
What's the address?
860 Enterprise Street in Dixon City,
How appropriate Enterprise Street.
and
Well, it's
there will be a big sign on the fence.
stop it. Did you print
We are
that?
hiring. Stop in for on-the-spot interviews.
Did you print that?
It's on the way. Yeah. Well, it's in production. We're gonna hang that on the fence because there's so much traffic coming through. So,
I know you got to get out, and I just want
Time
to.
is it?
It's 45.
We're
right there.
441.
okay.
Yeah, we're right
Yeah,
there. I do you want to say anything else? Because I want to
I'll
thank
come
him
back.
from the heart,
I mean, we'll
from
do
the
this
bottom
again
of
if
my
you want.
heart,
You want to thank him from the bottom of your heart?
from the cockles of my being.
Okay.
I only heard about you, and I didn't know anything about you, man. But you're pretty powerful.
Oh, I'm into a lot
Talker.
of fun shit too. I wish I had more time because there's so much shit.
Flamethrowers.
I got guns,
Meats.
flames. I mean, you name it. I got.
So do you have like
crazy ass-
American parties?
In what regards?
Like there might be a bonfire the size of
The
like
parties
a house.
that I have are like this. I met a guy when I was away on vacation because I was working late. A guy slams my laptop down. Who the fuck are you and why are you touching my computer? Dude, you're on vacation. Take a break. Start talking to him. What do? I own a shrimp boat in Louisiana. Fuck yeah. Ship me up all the goddamn fresh food. I'm into Newark. I will drive up, pick up the fresh, food. I got oysters and all this shit. Crawfish, oysters, shrimp boils, his family recipes. Throw a party for 100 of my family and close friends. That's the parties. Soft shell crabs.
I don't mean to
boiling
invite myself.
pizza,
But may I?
I have literally my what I've built on one of my properties is a dream come true. It was a lot of hard work that I put into it, but it's for my friends and family to get away from life. Come up to the lake, relax. Big fucking food. I'm a big food guy. So much food, you don't even know what to do with it.
So we know this guy.
Yeah.
He's a great chef.
Oh.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about like a big barbecue blowout this summer. Just
Well, we do pig roasts. I do
Do you
everything.
really?
Oh, fuck yeah.
please call us.
What if
I
we
will.
do?
I don't have any friends. Just
What if-
call me.
What if we do a super show with Ron and Vaughn? We do the Ron and Vaughn super show, and we do Pizza Ron and Chef Vaughn, and everybody feeds us.
I'm a chef too. I would love.
Are you really?
Yeah. I
What
could
don't
cook
you do?
Anything.
Sit down to pee? That's the only thing you don't do?
I do sit down to pee. That's my only break I get. People, and I'm older. Like the stream isn't the same, so I fucking sit down. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Fuck
Yeah.
I got one of those elongated bowls so the dick never touches the rim. Like
perfect.
I sit there.
perfect.
There's my 3 minutes of break. Let's go.
Yeah.
I want to say,
Amazing.
from the cockles of my heart, man, it was really great to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
I'm
Likewise.
so proud of your success, even though we just met. But I think you're doing great things for here,
Thank you.
and I think you're in an opportunity. You're in a good position to not have to worry about yourself as much when you're worried about the other people. And I think that's a really awesome thing to do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. I'm sorry it took so long. It's just
Huh? No, we would go another hour,
Some things are worth the wait.
but we're gonna have you back, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you have fun? Not
Oh, I
bad.
had a blast. Yeah,
Yeah?
I really do.
Thanks,
now,
man.
Now I have to have 12
You have to do
5-year-olds running around my ankle.
Ah, you'll be fine. You
It's
love
gonna be
kids,
great.
man. You look like a guy who loves kids.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
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 Dan, you want to say it?
All right, what a week.